Hello, Lisa DITKOWSKY back with you. Happy Father's Day to all of our fathers, forefathers, foremothers who made this country, the United States of America, the beautiful country that it is and that we want to keep it. And to that end, let's go, Brandon, FJB. So I was saying in part one, we need to elect anyone president of the United States of America. Anyone except for JB. So remember this, it's that season. We have about 16 months to go and he is going to go. And so that's where we're at. But the Washington, D.C. CFP Board answers to JB, Joe Biden. And that's why I'm wearing Let's Go Brandon. Because that's who Kevin Keller and his $1 million plus salary, and Leo Rydzewski, the lawyer that came on in 2015 to deal with lawsuits against the CFP board. And, you know, maybe he did okay with the lawsuits against the CFP board. But Kevin and he, in their deep state diapers, have done nothing but soil the CFP reputation around the United States of America. You know, Wall Street Journal has done an expose, Barron's, Forbes has done numerous exposés and called out the CFP board for the Washington, D.C. political lobbyists that they are, furthering foreign interests in the United States of America, offshoring, confusing our children with, you know, gender confusion and all kinds of radical leftist theories that don't advance making families financially secure in America. So they have come after me because of my politics, which was exposing the communism in Illinois and that we were the center of a world financial reset in Aurora, Illinois, with Cyrus One and Scientel Solutions and Richard Irvin and his gang, and the Democrat who was running as a Republican for governor, and that Ken Griffin, who gave them $55 million, or maybe it was $85 million, I forget, but he gave them a lot of money to run a slate of candidates, which was Richard Irvin, John Milheiser, Tom Demmer, Shannon Teresi, and I'm forgetting one, but yeah, so the Irvin slate of candidates. Oh, Steve Kim. How can we forget Steve Kim, who does business with all the One World Government 2030 vision plans around the world? Saudi Arabia 2030 vision plan. He was an integral part of the 2013 new Iraq plan with Joe Biden's brother, who was working for Hillstone International. I exposed all of that in a paper that Ken Griffin sold about $140 million worth of Cyrus One stock right before it went private, and then KKR and Global Infrastructure Partners took it over. And so and then the communists had board seats on Citadel. So Ken Griffin, who had only been on TV maybe 2 times in 10 years, suddenly is giving Chinese communists at Sequoia and Paradigm, and one of the co-founders of Coinbase, look at what's going on now with Coinbase, board seats on Citadel. And then they were offshoring a Department of Defense contract, NSA contract, worth $2 billion a year renewable for 10 years in Aurora, Illinois, and also about $60 billion worth of jobs offshoring, doing cloud and hybrid computing solutions out of Cyrus One and the towers in Aurora, Illinois. Meanwhile, I only recently broke the news that Illinois Manufacturers Association was also offshoring most of the manufacturing in Illinois, although they seem to be doing a good job past few months, I think. But Illinois Manufacturers Association was also a key part of what was going on with offshoring Department of Defense and military contracts. If you look at aerospace and defense manufacturing companies in Illinois, and then you look at where they're offshore to, all of that's public. By the way, no one looks, but it's all public. You can see that Illinois Manufacturers Association guard that's been there since like 1999, Philip McCall, who lives down the street from the guy LPL gave me as my supervisor for my last 30 days, John Scarbino. He lives down the street from the Scarbinos, Denise and John. By the way, they offshored Atria Wealth, where LPL's former president goes over. Morrissey goes over to Atria Solution. They have about $1 trillion worth of 6 broker dealers and federal credit unions in Florida and other places. They're like buying up United States of America federal credit unions and 6 United States of America broker dealers, and then they offshored it in February. And that's John Scarbino's wife, Denise, works there, and LPL's buddy, Dan Arnold Morrissey, goes over to Atria, and then they offshore it. Collusion, you think? When LPL puts their president at Atria, and then all of a sudden Atria has John Scarbino's wife, Denise, and they put this guy over me, and he gives me 5 fraudulent signatures to move the Helen Ramirez Odell accounts to house accounts. Adobe fonts, which are not valid. You have to use DocuSign with envelope IDs, or you have to use wet signatures, original signatures, per the compliance manual of LPL Financial. And he did that, and then he told me on the phone with, I won't say her name, but a senior service center case manager, that the accounts were going to the person who concealed the death from LPL Financial Corebridge and the client's bank, and from me, the certified financial planner on the accounts. So on May 1st, I left LPL and I report this to the CFP board because this is major. The guy that moved the money to William J. Blythe lives down the street from the president, or the chief financial officer rather, of Illinois Manufacturers Association, where Mike Zolnarowitz went after he left Rauner, Bruce Rauner, who was our governor, and Mikey Z goes over there to the subsidiaries of Illinois Manufacturers Association, and they platform the Irvin slate. So I think Mark Denzler is doing a good job lately. I see him promoting like railroads and all sorts of like Illinois companies, and he's really looks like he's trying to build manufacturing here. So maybe he had a change of heart. I don't know. But Illinois Manufacturers Association, Mark Denzler, and Philip McCall need to stop offshoring the United States of America and putting people like Steve Kim and Richard Irvin on a slate of candidates and getting Ken Griffin to give his money to offshore America. So what the CFP board is doing by putting 20 false press releases is directly protecting these people involved in this. So they say, oh, Lisa DITKOWSKY used the CFP trademark. No, I did not on my LinkedIn use the CFP trademark. That was for my journalism only. I never used the CFP trademark. That is a lie. And they say Lisa DITKOWSKY revealed private, confidential information that she didn't have the deceased client's permission to publish. First of all, she's deceased. Second of all, she was a public figure with CPS, CTU, Retired Teachers Association of Chicago, and a very feminist, although she didn't describe herself as a feminist, but she was pro-women, nurse for 40 years in the Chicago public school system. And what the CFP board is doing is protecting the very people that are intricately linked to Illinois Manufacturers Association and Atria Wealth, which offshored in February with our federal credit unions and 6 broker dealers and Breen Capital. When I reported this to Dan Arnold and Michelle Orshakoff, Breen Capital money launders like $700 million, just disappears, and they backdate their SEC federal form ADV to 2019, even though it was just started this year. Their federal form ADV of Breen Capital, which is also in bed with Lauren Keyes, the person they put in charge of me for 2 years, which is when they began illegally surveilling my human reproduction clients and my business and my clients. And very illegal surveillance going on. So I parted with LPL on good terms because it was an untenable situation for me to have illegal activity going on in my deceased client's account. But now the CFP board is saying I revealed confidential information. No, she was used for political fundraising by William J. Blythe and his friends in the CPS CTU Retired Teachers Association of Chicago, and this old woman, Bridget Geraci, who calls herself a famed actress in Chicago and was involved in the Women's Working History Project with Helen. So somewhere along between the end of February of last year, when I was in touch with the family, and then she suddenly passed away when she went home from rehab on March 22nd, they hijacked her and her disabled heirs that have a special needs family trust. All of this is 100% public. 2 Democratic Northern Illinois legislative members did a House bill and a Senate bill and a House resolution about her death. They, Mary DeFino ran a political fundraiser. She was deceased. No one that managed her money across all financial institutions had been informed of the death. And it got to the point where 13 months had gone by and I could not get the trustees or anybody to claim the money, probably because they knew the illegal activity was going on by the Blythes and Pritzker and the Chicago public school system. And 13 months, nobody would claim the accounts. So I finally got them out of my name before I left LPL Financial, but only with John Scarbino, Illinois Manufacturers Association's buddy, Phil McCall's buddy, putting a fraudulent signature. So please know, what the CFP board is doing is 100% illegal. I am going to get massive damages because they can't do that. They can't make up that I used a trademark that I did not use. They can't make up that I revealed private information that was 100% public, because there were legislative bills and resolutions and Chicago Public School fundraisers for Brandon Johnson for mayor. They were using her to raise money for the midterm elections and for future elections, for PACs, political action committees. So all of this is public. She comes up online dozens and dozens and dozens of places. Her lawyer that did the special needs trust with me, by the way, I went there and I met with them and I talked to them on the phone, and I'm the one who conveyed all of her needs and wishes for her financial planning, her certified financial planning. They filed a probate estate 3.5 months after she died, which is 100% public, presumably to protect her estate. And so, yeah, that protected it. Nobody wanted to touch the money. They just left the accounts at Corbridge and in my name for 13 months. Nobody would claim the money. So I'm realizing probably the trustee, the reason the trustee did this was to protect the estate. And that court date is probably going to be the same day as the husband's, who died a month after her second husband, which is not until September of this year. So just know, Lisa DITKOWSKY, CFP, interim suspension, all these press releases are completely false, completely defamatory. They're covering up extreme political corruption in the state of Illinois, in the city of Chicago, and with other CFPs. What else is new, Kevin Keller? What else is new, Leo Rydzewski? Having Adam Zajac, Eric Frias, and Aaron Kopel do your dirty work, and I reach out to them, 3 days ago, and they're on vacation. Aaron Kopel and Eric Frias, who do your dirty work for you and for the deep state. You know, CFP board needs to be taken down, because I'm a CFP. I'm a certified financial planner. I did 2 extra years of college coursework. I aced all my courses of 2 extra years of college. I paid you almost $500 a year in dues for the past 15 years. I did 30 plus hours of continuing education a year. I have 18 years and 3 months perfect standing in the securities industry and 15 years perfect standing with the CFP board. So what you're doing with your press releases is completely out of control. And the Department of Defense, the National Security Agency, and the Department of the Treasury and the Federal Trade Commission and the IRS need to get on the CFP board. Their accounts need to be frozen. I don't know if they have 50 million or what they currently have, but around that. It needs to be frozen. All of the money for CFP board needs to be frozen, because those who have written for Wall Street Journal and Barron's and Forbes and all the publications about the credential losing value, what we do is we pay for the ability to use the trademark. That's all we pay for. We're certified financial planners. The only reason that we who have earned it pay them is, and do the continuing education and report it to them, is to be able to keep using the trademark. I was not using the trademark on my LinkedIn since 2021. So you can't say that in a press release because I wasn't using it. You cannot say that I was revealing confidential information about a client. I was doing news analysis on public information that's in the public domain, 100% in the public domain. Fair Use, Section 107, United States of America, Copyright Act, to do critical news analysis of things in the public domain. That's 100% legit. My clients' special needs, disabled heirs, deserve to be cared for. And if you go to the probate court in Cook County, Illinois, and you read the client's estate planning documents, which are 100% public, that's what she wanted, for her special needs heirs to be cared for. She never wanted to be used as a political pawn the moment she died and to raise money for candidates that she may or may not have supported. CFP board, you need to take down the prnewswire press release. It's defamatory, and you need to apologize, because the world is going to know the truth. CFP board is politically weaponized little agents of Joe Biden doing his dirty work to destroy the United States of America, destroy the middle class, destroy American families. Notice where you put these press releases of defamation about me have ads for getting rich quick in the stock market and different investment companies. You're capitalizing on my name, CFP board. I did a search today, and now there's a sponsored link for CFP board. I've built my global reputation, and I've built my name of perfection in the securities industry and certified financial planning industry. And I have dozens and dozens of clients that can attest to this. You're now trying to capitalize on my name, and you're not going to be able to do that. So, Lisa DITKOWSKY, Global Fertility Business Intelligence, Certified Financial Planner, at war with the Washington, D.C. politically weaponized CFP board, and White 64, the advertising and marketing firm. They pay $12 million a year. White 64. What kind of advertising and marketing firm is that? I have to ask. That gets $12 million of our dues a year. So, happy Father's Day to our forefathers, our real fathers, our friends' fathers, and also our foremothers who act as fathers, because we all know some fathers act as mothers and some mothers act as fathers, and some women are men and some men are women, but that's anywhere in the world and has been for centuries. Take care. I wish you all love, peace, and lots of success. We have a lot of work ahead of us, second half of 2023. God bless.